donating his mother and grandmother to Biological Resource Center in 2012 and 2013, with the understanding their bodies would be used for scientific purposes.
Cancer and, leukemia and whatever else, using sample cells. And that's what I was told.
But that's not what happened. In 2014, the FBI raided the Phoenix facility in hazmat suits as part of a multi-state investigation into the illegal trafficking and sale of human body parts. But for the first time, we're now able to see the testimony from one of the FBI agents who conducted the raid, and what he recounts is shocking. He said he found a cooler filled with male genitalia, a bucket of heads, arms, and legs, infected heads, and one of the most disturbing findings, called a morbid joke in the lawsuit, a small woman's head sewn onto a large male torso like Frankenstein and hung up on the wall.
Who in the right mind? It's absolutely gross.
The lawsuit also says the bodies were cut up with chainsaws and bandsaws, and pools of human blood and bodily fluids were found on the floor of the freezer, with no identification tags on the bodies.
Tools that are not appropriate for dismembering scientific bodies.
Harp says his mother's ashes showed up by mail on his doorstep shortly after the raid, but he isn't even sure they're her ashes. He says his mom and grandma wanted to help medical research after their death, yet doesn't believe they ever made it out of the BRC building.
How you guys doing? Ride out homes. Just finished an appointment. Contract, man. Over here in Little Russia. They got this place looking like Russia. Because Russia is like this place. And there's a lot of the Russians that live here. So, this woman said that she's gonna hook me up with some clients that, because she doesn't practice no more. So, excuse me. She doesn't practice no more because she's of her illness. So she said she's gonna refer me to some people that want to buy some homes and sell some homes. And I said, let's do it. And in the meantime, I'm trying to work with this property inspection also to see if there's a department where when they're done fixing up the home, they can call me to do a listing and do an open house and sell the home, whether it's in foreclosure or probate or just to sell the house. And I said, well, I'm down for it, but I'm trying to find out how to get there. So I've been making calls, trying to find out the connection and everything. It's been crazy. But in the meantime, and I don't know if you heard, but the NAR, the lawsuit that was going on came through. The National Association of Realtors found the NAR guilty.
Could change the way Americans buy and sell homes. A federal jury in Missouri on Tuesday found that the National Association of Realtors liable for artificially inflating commissions and awarded plaintiffs $1.8 billion in damages. CBS's Carter Evans takes a look at what it means for the average consumer.
I think that this is going to drastically lower what commission rates are.
Jared Bright's long legal battle with the real estate industry began when he sold his St. Louis home back in 2017. He was frustrated that he had to pay a commission to the buyer's broker.
Certainly, I didn't understand why I was paying for someone who I'd never met, will never meet, and wasn't doing anything for me.
Here's how it works under the current system. For a $500,000 home, the seller agrees to pay a commission, typically 5 to 6% of the home's selling price. That is then split between the seller's agent and the buyer's agent. Sellers have to pay the commission in order to have their home included on the multiple listing service, or MLS, a vast property database that feeds into popular sites like Zillow.
It doesn't sound like that radical of a concept. You pay for the person who's working for you.
Rights attorney Michael Ketchmark brought the class action lawsuit against the National Association of Realtors and some of the largest real estate brokers in the country.
What we proved was the National Association of Realtors has joined in a conspiracy with the two of the largest corporate real estate brokers to use the system to fix prices.
The court determined the current commission model makes it difficult for sellers and buyers to negotiate lower fees at a time when technology makes it easy for anyone to access real estate listings online. The National Association of Realtors plans to appeal the verdict and says its rules serve in the best interests of consumers.
It's scary and it's daunting, and so we'll see. It's a big shakeup.
LA Realtor Pamela Rich says a shift in fees could put homes out of reach for some. Who could this impact the most?
I think the buyers, although the seller may have some financial relief, the buyer is now the one that's going to absorb the cost for the buyer's fees. That's a huge shift in the industry.
Guilty of inflating real estate prices. Now, it's saying the sales agents. So their fine was 1.8 billion. Now, who's that money going to go to? Who's that money going to? Because you know that these lawyers are just going to pocket that stuff, that money, and move on. But you know what? We have to pay the price. We have to pay the burden, because they're going to raise our fees, raise our commission fees. I mean, our expense fees are, because remember, we got to pay for the super card. We pay for the MLS. We pay for the realtor board association. So we're paying for a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? And also pay for the signs, pay for the websites. So they're going to raise up all the fees for us to be able to make a payment on that. But you know what? I really believe like this is really wrong, because when we deal with the homeowners already inflated their home, saying they want to sell it for 2.1 million when it's only worth $1 million or 700,000. You know, just because they put some lights and did some landscapes, so they want to boost up the price by 300,000 plus, and then we have to deal with this, and now we're getting sued. You know, for basically keeping a homeowner. I don't really understand this case, because you know, it's just confusing. You know, confusion is in the air, you know, when you're dealing with this case. I think this person had a lot of money and was paying his way to win this case, because it doesn't make no sense at all why they're suing, you know, because we try our best, you know, to make the client happy. You know, your fiduciary duties to the homeowner, and you're supposed to make sure that, you know, you're going to meet them halfway, because they're going to be like, I want to sell my house for 1.2 million. So then you look at the place, you inspect it, you come back to them and you say, okay, what I'm seeing at and what the market is, and then you do your 3 comparison in the neighborhood. Okay, this house sold for this house sold for that, this house sold for this. So, you know, basically we could put your house at 900,000, and they'll be like, no, I did this, I bought it at this time, I bought it at the wrong time, and I had to put all this down payment and everything, and you know, I'm already at a loss, I need it at 1.2 million. And you're looking at them and you're like, oh, okay, let's see, okay, let's put it on the market for 9.9. I mean, 990,000. You know, let's put it on there for that much and see what happens. You know, I've been driving up and down my street, and I've seen homes that are still on the market for like past 90 days, you know, and these homeowners will not give up because they don't care, or they have another place to live, or it doesn't affect them. But you know, the good thing is that as an exclusive right to sell agent disclosure, you know, you still get paid whether you sell the house or not. You know, a lot of agents don't push it, some agents do push it, but you know, that's just how it is, you know. So I just hope that this stuff is very confusing on how it's working, and I'm feeling like it's just a way to make homeowners to cover the national debt, because I don't see no reason. I don't understand this, or they didn't have good lawyers, or they were on both sides. You know, I don't know if it's a con or something like that, because I'm kind of confused with what this person was actually suing for. You know, so we'll see what's going on. You know, because it's very you know, shaky grounds. But the fact that 1.8 billion will be put on us agents to pay that off by them raising all the fees and commission fees and so forth on us, you know. So I know that's gonna happen. So on the other hand, you know, it's a morning. I hope you guys liked my last video. You know, I'm just putting these videos out right now, putting more videos out there, talking more about what's going on out there in the industry. You know, so you know, another thing is that, you know, we gotta look at other stuff too. You know, like also what came out was this is the CFPB, Consumers Financial Protection Bureau, basically community reinvestment. Now, this community reinvestment is something else, because we got to look at what's going on here, because I don't like what I see. All I see is the Zionist community being rebuilt over and over again, always having upgrades. Like every time they're having an upgrade, there's no day that they're not having an upgrade. And the Armenian community, the Persian community, you know, Century Cities, Beverly Hills, Burbank, Pasadena, all the good areas. So this community, and then whenever they're gonna take care of a community, what do? They kick all the black people out. You see, but black people always fall for the trap because they're controlled by the media. So they always fall into the realm and get grinded, you know, and spit out. You know, so it's kind of hard because they're gonna put all this money into the community. But if you go over here to Studio City and Encino, they're just taking down old homes, old houses, old apartments. They're making deals. They're doing all their enactments. You know, they're just taking the property. You know, what do you call it? Eminent domain and everything. You know, so they're just doing everything that they possibly can to get you out and start building and start rebuilding the community. A lot of investors are here. It's like millions. They're just coming in here, knocking down. They like building these apartments that are white and black, you know, and they're like mini. So you'll see that and you'll be like, damn, you know, it looks nice too. And they go upwards. They're like 3 floors. There's like 3 floors, 1, 2, 3. And I've shown some pictures. I've done a lot of inspection on them and everything. So you would they look nice in there. They look nice in there, especially when they're in a nice area. They were building some of them in Van Nuys area, North Hollywood. the bad area though, you know, because I know they're trying to change that area. So they're building some in those areas, and it was the apartment, the condos. It looked good, but the neighborhood was just not fit for it. You know, but you know, I know that they will get some Asian customers, like they always do. You know, Asians always will. They'll move in anyway, time and then kick everybody out. But it's not right, because across the street, like I said, you know, a lot of Hispanics, they don't take care of their, not all, but majority of them, they don't take care of their front yards and everything. They got a lot of cars. They got a lot of cars they don't use, tools, everything. And that was what was all around the area. And I was like, wow, you guys are gonna have to tear down this neighborhood, you know, before, you know, because, and these properties are going for like $800,000, $800,000, you know. So they might have to redo the community, you know, and that's the Community Reinvestment Act, because I'm seeing this stuff going on, and that's why I need to be part of it and be like, hey, you know, I could sell the home for you. I could sell the homes for these banks, because these banks are in the East Coast. And I was doing one, and I saw Keller Williams there, getting ready to sell all those condos. So I was like, man, I need to get with the right person at the right time in the right place. Make some phone calls and find out how I could be a primary broker for the company and sell those houses. So that's what I'm working on right now. So you know, and you know, there's no more black community. You know, the black community is done. You know, if you do a little, you know, all this to be a black community has to be ghetto and gangbanging. I don't associate with that. I never liked that. I never understood that. Why do you want a community that's bad and evil? You know, and then people fall for it. You know, people fall for it and become part of it, associated. And I said, you know, that's what the black community get for associating itself with demonic, and then they're gonna go to church on Sunday. You know, it's very disturbing. I don't understand. You know what I mean? You know, it just makes me, you know, a place. That's why they have a restrictive covenant in a lot of places. You know, especially like in the East Coast, New York, Maine, Baltimore, certain parts of Florida, and over here too in California, where they don't allow black people to come in. But that law has changed, and they're getting rid of their restrictive covenant. Now, I know why they're getting rid of it on the United States is getting rid of it. You know, it's because they need money, they need to pay off the debt, and they need more people in the community, because they see that the rich, because now the generational wealth, like these white people, majority of Caucasians who's been here, they're on their 6th generational wealth. So they got all the tax breaks, they know how to work the system, they're not paying no taxes, they're using their trust, they're putting the money in the private sector, working as private, they know how this stuff goes, just like, you know, Trump, you know, but maybe on a smaller level, you know, and they're using debt, they're not using their own money. So they need ignorant people to come in there, use their money, buy, try to think that they're living like the rich, the lifestyle, catching up, but not knowing how it's done. Because the last thing you want to do is use your own money. You want to use debt, because this place is full of debt, and debt is the Federal Reserve notes are all negotiable instruments that use debt.
Certificate, Einstein. Okay, ain't no Federal Reserve on there nowhere. This prior to 1933. They talking about after 1933, allegedly you was bankrupt. Okay, well this is money right here. This certified that the bearer, bearer that has deposited in the Treasury of the United States of America $20 in gold coin payable to the bearer of this demand. This is a bearer instrument. You can take this to the Treasury window and get gold for it. We can't do that no more. Why we can't do that no more? Why we can't do that no more? Who is the Federal Reserve? Man, what you mad about? This is a $20 bill. Okay, so right here we got Federal Reserve note. Federal Reserve note. This note is legal tender, all debts, public and private. Just pull the money out your pocket and look at it. Don't have no gold in it, and not redeemable in gold or nothing like that on there. And then what's really interesting is these letters on here on the $1 bill match up to the Federal Reserve districts, just like the red letter on the back of your Social Security card. Now, if that's not an account, is that a Social Security account? Is that the account number? Because if that's the account number, every time you lose your card, they give you a different number. Every time you get a new Social Security card on the back, the number changes every time. Sometimes it'll change Federal Reserve banks and go to a totally different bank. But that's just something just interesting that any person that is observing something should question, and we should receive an answer from it from our government under penalty of perjury. But they're not going to.
They use that, and the government needs more people to purchase homes so they can pay off this debt that they have incurred, especially with all the money they're sending to the Europe and Asia. You know, so they need more homes, they need more sales, they need more everything, and that's what's going on the at the back end. On the front end, they're getting rid of it because they're getting sued because people need homes. People are mad that their community, people are catching up now. A lot of blacks and Hispanics and Asians already know are getting out of it and saying that, hey, we're really getting screwed. We don't like what's going on in the community. We don't like all this ghetto lifestyle that you're portraying and trying to destroy our family. And we already see all our kids in jail and so forth. So we want something different. We want something better. And second, we weren't slaves. We were indigenous people. We've been here before. And you always put in other races first. And we want something better. We're tired of getting the low end of the stick. And all that promotion of streets, gangbanging and everything is going out the window right now because they're seeing that it's just a bond that gets them caught up in the long term. Look at the streets, all the homeless people and everything. But most of those people are people that work for the government or for the city, and they have to make a decision between their medication and their home. So, and get in a house, and they have to stay closer to the hospital. So basically, we see here that people are waking up. People have already been awake, but now it's like a push, and a lot of people are asking for reparations, so that's one thing. And one thing that Biden is trying to do is say, okay, we'll give you reparations, we'll break all the covenants, you can move into the white neighborhood. That's not reparations. But anyway, they're breaking the covenants, they're trying to, but it's not going to happen. But the problem is that you cannot use public money and say private, because there's public and private, so they might lose the protective covenant might lose due to that covenant, rule where you can't mix private with public, because if it's public, then you can't be racist towards the people. But if it's private, then you can. You can say this is private property. You have your own private security, private counsel, private administration. You can't use the public, and so. But this is what they're talking about: little government, small government. So, but we'll see what happens with that one. But they're working on it and trying to break all these restrictive covenants that are saying that black people can't live here, brown people can't live here. If you're not white, you can't live here. But on the other hand, with the single motherhood, going on, I'm afraid. I'll be afraid to let certain people in my neighborhood, because the last thing I want to do is see my neighborhood destroyed, my community destroyed, and my house devalued that I worked so hard for, because some single mother wants to be independent and her kids are all running all over this place rampant and participating in rituals and behavior that demotes our community and destroys our community. You know, these kids want to wear hoodies and drive up and down the streets smoking weed and looking for and performing. Now, none of them are into the gangs or anything. These are just fashion thugs. They're just pretending to be gangbangers and gangsters and so forth, but they're not actually into that kind of stuff. They're just doing it, you know, because that's what they see on TV, you know. And I'm here but what happens is that they mark your neighborhood, your community bad. And you're over there trying to talk to these kids. You're trying to tell them, hey, don't do that, go to school, do right, know your history, do this, do that. They don't want to do it. They want to participate in these things that they see in the media. They want to participate in these wannabe, treacherous, non-existent, can't get you nowhere acts. They want to dress a certain way. They want to smoke weed because that's what they're learning in the school. And then with all these LGBTQ stuff going on too, they're just going to destroy the neighborhood, you know? Because these single black mothers don't want a man in the house. They want to say that, oh, I could do it on my own. I don't need no man. And I'm like, you know, you gotta have somebody to discipline those boys, because they're just running rampant, destroying, stealing, killing. Look at all these robberies that are going on. They all get in a pack and then they start robbing because they don't have skills or trades, so they end up in violent activities. And these single black mothers don't care, and that's what gets me upset. Is that the reason for insanity is doing the same stuff over and over again and getting the same results that lead to nothing. And it's like these black mothers don't care. They think that just spanking him and shouting at him is gonna help. No, they need a man in the house, you know? They need a father in the house who could teach them a trade, discipline, and skills. It's all this independent woman shit needs to stop, because the black community has already been dissolved and destroyed, and they're still working on the same stuff. They're still performing what failed. That's what gets me mad. And it's just ridiculous, you know. That's why I gotta be fair when these restricted covenants are around. But it's the Democratic fault. It's the Democrats who are doing this. You know, it's the Democrats. So, you know, that's the main problem right there. You know. So it's crazy. It just goes on and on. You know. So, you know, it's just one thing after the other. You know. But you know, the communities that we're gonna see building, we know that they're gonna be basically we know that they're basically gonna be the Zionist, Persians, and Asian communities, you know, if they want it. So that's just how it is with this Community Investment Act, you know, because don't expect to see anything in the black community, but you know, it's the feminist fault for all of this, you know. It's the reason why we don't have a community, you know. And these black females still want to be in charge of I don't know what, destroying their own community, destroying their own race. All our young youths are in jail, you know. So it's just ridiculous, you know. And they're still performing the same actions. Anyway, that's it right now, and where I gotta be. It's nice talking to you guys. Come back for more, you know. Have a good day. Thanks for coming by.
Months. I was studying 18 months before I even filed a UCC1 because I really didn't understand it. Why am I filing this? Like a lot of people say, I filed a UCC1. A UCC1 is just a notice. It took me a long time to understand a UCC1 is just a notice. You're giving notice to the world that you're the first in line, first in time. It's powerful in the sense that no one subsequent to that filing can come in and get rid of your claim. You got the superior claim. This is about registering claims. How everything works in commerce is that there's first in line, first in time. And I'll give you the example of a mortgage. A mortgage is a very good example of this. Right? Some of you out here have first and second mortgages. What you learn I learned this in real estate investing when I was doing short sales. When you do a short sale, the best short sales to conduct are on homes that are in foreclosure that have first and second mortgages. The reason for that is when the house goes into foreclosure, the second mortgage is going to get wiped out, or only going to get what's left over after the first mortgage lien holder gets all their money after the sale. So what we would do is we would go to loss mitigation of that particular mortgage company and contact them and negotiate with them to reduce the price. I would already conduct a comp on the property, look how many repairs that it had. I did an assessment myself of what I thought the value of that property was. After that, they would send out a broker who would do a broker price opinion, and they would come to a determination on the value of it. It's always smart to be there with a broker when he's doing that assessment on that property. You be there with him. Don't let him do that when you're not there, because you can influence the price. But what happened is that they find out that, hey, look, this property is only worth $200,000. What is owed on the property is $300,000, but the first lien holder is owed $185,000, and the second lien holder is owed $100,000. But they're only going to get $200,000 for it. So the second lien holder might get $15,000, maybe not. So you can go to them and say, look, if you reduce what is owed on this, then I'll come in and purchase the property. And so something is basically letting the second lien holder know something is better than nothing, because they may end up not getting anything at all on a foreclosure. That's why nobody wants to be the second in line. Okay, well, it's the same thing with you. Everything out here, the reason that you're filing a UCC1 is because there isn't any money. Money is being created by liens. Everything is about liens in our society. Everything. Money is created through liens. By interest, value is given to commercial paper if there is a security interest in that paper. Security interests are governed by the UCC, first in line, first in time. So value is determined by interest in things. So that is why everybody's trying to put a lien on you. A charge is a lien. They're putting a lien against your social security number. This is the reason that you're doing a secured party process. All right, so you have the superior claim. So now when you come into court, you can bring your UCC1, and as long as you put everybody on notice prior, you have to do this prior to them giving you a charge. You can't do it after the fact. To get equity, you must do equity. This is why we have to give you doing these processes and putting everybody on notice. So now when they've been put on notice, you say, look, I already have a superior claim. You're trying to file a claim against my state. They're going to try to play the game with this is not civil, this is criminal. And that's when you get, okay, well, if this is criminal and not civil, the Constitution for the United States of America grants me the right to know the nature and cause of any action, and it makes it incumbent upon you to reveal that information to me. So I have a question for you, sir. Is this a civil or criminal action? This is a criminal action. Thank you. Let the record reflect that the action being brought against the defendant is a criminal action. Now, sir, I have another question for you. The Constitution for the United States of America only grants this court two criminal jurisdictions. And they say it's criminal. Is this common law, or is this a condition of contract under criminal aspects of a culpable admiralty jurisdiction? There's only two jurisdictions. You just said it's not civil, it's criminal. There's only two jurisdictions that have criminal. That's common law and maritime admiralty. Maritime admiralty requires a contract. You have signed a contract. That's why we got invisible contracts. George Mercier has a book called Invisible Contract. You contracted. This is why you keep hearing people say you contracted into this jurisdiction, because you've accepted benefits and privileges via the Social Security number. Once you understand all this information, it makes perfect sense. This is why you're in a democracy and not in the republic. People in the democracy of dependence. Do you think the Democratic Party, all they talk about is giving you some welfare?